I'm going to tell you about Street Fighter Duel's best tech, hands down, interrupts. Most of Street Fighter Duel's game can be auto-run up until around 940, which was the first stage that I really couldn't make it past, even when I wasn't using auto-duel. That is, until I learned about interrupts. Shout out to Rokage for posting the video that I used to clear 940, and also to learn this tech. With it, I was able to even clear 1140 without Bison. The link to his 940 is in the description below. Interrupts are so insanely broken that you can use them when you're severely underleveled and don't have Bison to clear stages way ahead of when you should be. If you have a character like Beast Zangief or E Honda, then you can do interrupts for sure. But I'm sure there are other characters, like Makoto I think, that can also do this. Let me know in the comments if you know other characters that can use interrupt triggers. By far for interrupts, Beast Zangief is the best character I know so far. His level 2 Wild Beast Spin pulls all characters into the attack and has a 10% chance to stun them, meaning you can even stop backline attackers like Dalsim and Combat Guile. When perfectly timed, this can stop fighters from performing the full chain of attack, meaning the first one will go off, but the second, third, and fourth attacks won't, keeping your entire team alive through brutal fights, like the Combat Guile fight and the M Bison fight. This skill is a necessity for players who may not have Bison because they either didn't get lucky or didn't want to drop $100 on the game. What I've discovered since learning about interrupt triggers, or ITs from now on, is that they are entirely reactable if you have good reaction speed. Essentially, CPUs will always use their super shortly after the bar fills for the first time. You can react to their skill use and use your own skill to counter it. If done correctly, it'll look like this. As best as I can tell, you bypass your skill activation window slowdown, which is just a term I came up with to describe when you activate your skill. There's like a slow move, and then your move comes out. And this is because the opponent is currently in theirs, and this is kind of similar to like a counter or other things in other fighting games. When you do it perfectly, you will interrupt not only their entire chain, but also prevent them from using their first move as well. I'm going to call this a perfect interrupt trigger, or PIT. PITs are crucial for those fights against Dalsim, Guile, anybody whose first attack, if it gets off, will probably deal irreparable damage to your team. If you have a tanky lineup who can survive/heal out the first damage, you don't necessarily need a PIT to beat that stage. Not always, at least. But in some stages like 940, 1040, 1140, this tech is imperative, and you need to perfectly time it. Something else to note is if you mistime a PIT, sometimes you may still trigger the interrupt, but the chain isn't broken and the second character will still continue their attack. This is usually a good enough indicator for me to restart in most stages, just to save a little bit of time. I have some tips, but I don't know if these are exclusive to Beast Zangief or not. That was the only character that I used going through up until where I'm at right now. If these are exclusive to just Beast Zangief, simply adjust your skill usage so that your skill is ready to use as their super bar hits 1. Some useful tips to get a PIT are to start your first super when the bar is almost full, right around here. Then, as soon as the bar spills over to 1, activate your level 1. For me, this was my Elena heal, so that I could have Beast Zangief on the ready. This consistently allows you to wait for the CPU's first super, and as soon as you see the flash on screen, activate your counter. I know I time my attack fairly well when I see something that resembles a Smash Bros. Shield around the enemy. Your attack should come out right away, which should allow an interrupt. To round out this video, here's my full play-by-play of clearing 1140. First, I borrowed Guy from Oni. Big thanks to them for even making this run possible. The first action I take is prepping for the PIT. Dalsim pops super, and as soon as I see it, I counter pop. Yoga Fireball and Yoga Flame both shred my team, so I need to PIT here. The next super slowly build up, and from what I've noticed in my runs here and up to here, is that the second super always seems to happen slightly earlier than the first one. This actually happens, and I mistime it here, but luckily Dalsim is too far back, and I think I catch Abel as he tries to use skill 1. This prevents the rest of the chain from happening, and Dalsim from killing my team. This actually happens a second time, and luckily Dalsim is still too far back, and I'm able to stun Bison and take down Abel so they can't continue the combo. Once again, thank you to Oni for lending me Guy, who is a great backline assassin. I really couldn't have beaten the level without Guy. At this point, it's very good that Mad Ryu has over half his health left, because Bison almost takes out Gief, and Fei Long would have killed Mad Ryu if his passive didn't kick in. For those who don't know, the first time Mad Ryu's HP drops below 50%, once he's over level 41, he'll jump back and perform a Hadouken. Once this happens and I counter skill, I know I need to go on the offensive here. I switch to an aggressive playstyle and activate my skills as soon as I get them. Gief sacrifices himself in order to let M. Ryu Crazy Shoryu to take out Fei Long, and then that just leaves Guy with Elena backup to finish the match. At the end here, there's just going to be a quick cut to my lineup, and you can see that half of my team is severely underleveled, which only goes to show you how useful ITs and PITs are. If you know somebody struggling with a hard level, share this with them, and if you learned about PITs from me, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments below how far along in the stages you are, and if you're struggling with anything. It beats talking 50 characters at a time in global chat. Most importantly, remember to tell the people in your life that you care about that you love them. Bye!